Welcome to the Bylines New Voices podcast with me, Brian Scott Smith, powered by ctexaminer.com in collaboration with CT Community News, where each month we'll highlight stories from up-and-coming student journalists from colleges and universities from across the state of Connecticut. On this episode, we're highlighting the work of student journalist Julia Gillego. So, Julia, thanks for being on the podcast. What got you interested in journalism?
I'd say having the opportunity to tell stories of other people, not just my own. And I've always had an affinity for writing. And it's just an extra plus that I get to, pursue that educationally and creatively on my own time.
Now, you do written journalism, you do audio journalism. Today's journalist has to be a little bit like a content creator. Talk to us about what you like about the differences between writing and then maybe, creating a piece of audio.
I'd say with audio specifically, I only recently got into it because of my great professor, Harriet Jones. And it was a different side of journalism that I hadn't really explored before. I do, listen to podcasts occasionally here and there, but I never really understood the behind the scenes of everything and the editing that goes into it. And I think having the opportunity to learn those types of things and supplement it with writing is just so powerful. And as you said, you have to be multifaceted now as a journalist because social media and everything and different content areas. I really enjoy learning about the audio. And with writing, I've always enjoyed writing, like I mentioned, but I'd say having the ability to just put my ideas to pen and paper and then going out and interviewing people really is empowering on both ends because I love getting to know people. And I think just talking and interviewing people is a great part of it.
Written journalism obviously has been around for a very long time. I mean, it can give a lot of information, but it lacks the personality. Because talking to you, you clearly have got a great personality. Is that another thing that sort of drove you? You wanted to get some more personality maybe into the journalism that you do?
I completely agree with that just because over text, it's not as, how do I say this? You can't get the tone of someone's words with just text. And being able to talk to people and hearing their intonation or hearing the cadence of how they talk is very powerful, and hearing exactly how they feel in that moment. I love that part.
Talk to us about how you decided to go and deal with this particular topic for your audio piece, which is artificial intelligence. What was it your thinking behind why you wanted to cover that?
With the rapid growth of AI, especially in my 4 years here at the University of Connecticut, it wasn't as prevalent as it is now, I think. And everything is ChatGPT or Sora, or even you see it on social media and stuff. But I specifically wanted to go into this topic just to see how creative majors like digital media design and more technical majors like computer science are affected by this. Because I've heard the rumors and I wanted to get, behind the scenes and ask the students how it's being affected in their classroom and or just in general.
We're going to listen to your piece at the end of this podcast, but while you were doing it, was there anything surprising that came out of the reporting for you?
I just think the overall, not confusion that students have, but the very vague guidelines of professors either wanting them to use AI or completely against having AI at all. And I think it gets confusing for students, and there should be more of a, maybe not a stricter guideline, but more focused on how students can learn from it rather than just using it for everything that they do, because that's not beneficial to students or teachers.
AI can do many things, including journalism. So where do you stand on AI in journalism?
There's a lot of ways it can help journalism, just in the fact of maybe grammar checking or having correct AP style, but the root of it, having the ethics of prioritizing the person or the subject that you're talking to, or just simply having that human to human connection. You can't have that with AI or any sort of machinery. You need the person interviewing and connecting like that is definitely something that AI can't take away from journalism.
Julia, it's been great talking to you. Thank you for giving us some insight into not only you, your journalism, and obviously your audio piece. Perhaps you'd introduce it for us.
I'm Julia Gillego. I'm a student journalist here at the University of Connecticut, and here's my report about the age of AI. Artificial intelligence is no longer just a tech trend. It's basically that one kid who shows up to every class, sits in the front row, and somehow knows everyone's business. At UConn, AI has gone from kind of weird to definitely here, and both students and professors are scrambling to figure out what that means. From late-night study sessions to syllabi with bold, all caps, no AI warnings, the rules of learning are getting rewritten, literally. This is AI 101 with your host, Julia Gillego, where I'll take you inside UConn's evolving relationship with AI, the excitement, the fear, and the chaos from both sides of the classroom. I began by talking to digital media and design majors to understand how AI is appearing in creative and media-related coursework at UConn. And the first thing I learned? AI is not a hypothetical. It's already in their homework. Richard Specht is a digital media and design major with a concentration in digital media business strategies.
I did have one class that was all on like AI ethics and like how to use it in the workplace. We did a whole mock trial of like pretending we were AI executives, like defending the use of AI in the United States, which is pretty cool. So I'd say it's pretty prevalent.
Richard makes a solid point. AI isn't going anywhere. Professors know it. Students definitely know it. But here's where things get tricky. Every professor has their own vibe about AI. Like there's no unified policy.
It's pretty split. I have one professor who everything we do, like he tells us to use AI and just like to double check our work and stuff like that. And then I've had other professors who are like super against it and have updated the guidelines to be like, if you use AI, you will fail, which both sides of the spectrum is kind of weird to see at this point.
Imagine trying to memorize which professor is chill and which professor is the you'll fail for even thinking about ChatGPT type. It's academic whiplash. And yet, AI is making real improvements for students. Richard told me about a podcast assignment, very meta for this podcast, where AI actually saved him.
Before, like writing a script in full probably would have been a little hard, but since I had AI on my side, I was able to come up with an even better script in a shorter amount of time. I'd say it helped me put out a better piece of quality work for sure.
See? Helpful. But then there's the other side.
And it was coming up with like the corniest slogans of all time, which honestly made the project harder because now I was like, I have no ideas, and the ideas AI is giving me are just terrible. So
AI. Genius 1 second, dad joke machine the next. Ella Gorham, another DMD major, brought a great perspective to this conversation.
AI will never be able to make anything new. It's only based on stuff that it already has. Whereas that's why I'm kind of not nervous about it in my profession, because a lot of people are like, oh, AI is going to take over. And I'm like, not really, as long as you have fresh ideas.
Kind of comforting, right? But then she reveals the reality check.
I know a lot of people I've talked to kind of feel almost an imposter syndrome. There are so many talented people within the major. And personally for myself, I'm always trying to push myself to be better. And with all these added components such as AI, it's just kind of another thing that you have to master and you have to be good at.
Imposter syndrome plus AI? Unfair combo. Brandon D'Amato, another DMD major, described AI as a tool for brainstorming. Like your friend who never shuts up, but occasionally says something brilliant.
Hey, like, give me ideas about this, and it just lists a bunch of ideas. I take one of those ideas and I just expand on it on my own creative thinking.
But Brandon also gave me one of the wildest examples of AI detection chaos.
I wrote this amazing essay, and she thought it was AI, and I did not use a single ounce of AI for it. And basically, like, I had to submit an old essay that I wrote, like, years ago to her, so she could, like, be like, okay, this is legit.
Imagine proving you're human by digging up your freshman year writing. Kind of dystopian. If DMD majors experiment with AI creatively, computer science majors interact with it in a more technical way, figuring out how not to let it interfere with learning to code. Cassidy Granum, A sophomore computer science major planning to go into cybersecurity told me one professor of hers has noticed AI use in her computer science class.
I felt like she was hinting towards AI, but she couldn't openly just outright say, oh, guys, stop doing it. But based off what she's saying, it is affecting people's grades in like a bad way because, people are taking the easier way out, so to speak, for the homeworks. And then, it doesn't really show up on the exam when it's important.
Which makes sense. Copying code from ChatGPT is like bringing a snake into a reptile store. They're going to notice. And her biggest fear? Future doctors, engineers, finance bros using ChatGPT way too much.
If you were going through college just ChatGPTing everything, what are you actually learning and how do you know it's going to be effective?
Alex Riley, another CS student, made a great point. AI is affecting the hiring process in the computer science field.
Interviews have been kind of changing focus to more like understanding of complex systems. So what systems would you use to build this part of a website or this part of a cloud-based infrastructure? Because people are able to cheat so easily on coding exams now.
AI isn't just changing school, it's changing the job market. Of course, I needed one more perspective, the person who sees how AI is shaping assignments, and the next generation of professionals. I spoke to assistant professor at UConn's journalism department, Brad Tuttle, or as some might call him, the AI guy.
It's just sort of this never-ending flood of new information, new uses, new tools, new ways that AI may upend, enhance, change what it is we're doing as journalists, and in education as well. This sort of mix of concerns about cheating and about proper and improper use about AI, combined with the very real learning opportunities that come from AI.
He says AI won't change journalism's core values, truth, accuracy, fairness, but it might amplify the risks.
It's going to help us find, gather more information, make sense of it, get truth out there to the public faster, perhaps in a more accessible way to people. The flip side is that it's very concerning because AI is such an amazing tool that it can also be used to spread misinformation and disinformation at a pace that we've never seen before.
But the misconception he worries about most?
Students aren't basically building the skills that they came to college to develop. And those skills are thinking, are assessing, are figuring out how to gather information, how to assess it, how to think in complicated ways, how to shape their own ideas, how to communicate.
AI isn't cheating your assignment. It's cheating you out of becoming the person your assignment was supposed to shape.
And at a bigger level, it sort of like undercuts the whole value of why you're here. So that's a major problem.
Across all 6 interviews, one thing was consistent. AI isn't replacing education. It's forcing education to evolve. Digital media design majors are learning how to balance creativity with efficiency. Computer science majors are learning when to trust AI and when to run. Journalism is learning how to use AI without losing credibility. And UConn is learning in real time, sometimes gracefully, occasionally, but learning. And the takeaway? AI might not take your job. Someone who knows how to use AI might. So maybe the question for students isn't, should I use AI? It's, what can I do that AI can't? Thinking, judgment, creativity, that's still human territory. But there's also responsibility on the university's end to support students in navigating this shift. This has been AI 101 with your host, Julia Gillego. Thanks for listening. And remember, use AI responsibly. Or at least spell check whatever it gives you.
Don't forget to visit ctcommunitynews.org to read and listen to all the stories you'll hear on this podcast in the coming months, powered by ctexaminer.com, reporting and supporting what matters. From Bylines New Voices, I'm Brian Scott Smith. Thanks for listening.